of this as a big problem that could have a small solution. Government and business groups say America's crumbling infrastructure needs fixing for the state of the economy. Scientists in the Netherlands have found an unlikely material that they say repairs degraded concrete. It's like a bacteria. Nick Glass explains.
Ever since the Romans made spectacular use of it on the Pantheon some 2,000 years ago, we've been trying to find ways to make concrete, the world's most popular building material, more durable. The fact is, all concrete eventually cracks, no matter how carefully it's mixed or reinforced. But now, scientists here in the Netherlands have come up with an entirely new way of giving concrete a longer life. And they found it under the microscope.
We have invented bioconcrete. That's concrete that heals itself using bacteria.
Professor Henk Jonkers is a microbiologist. In 2006, a colleague came to him with an unusual challenge.
He is a concrete technologist, me being more an expert in microbiology. And then he asked me if it would be possible to use bacteria to make concrete self-healing.
In just 3 years, a very fast turnaround in scientific terms, Jonkers had cracked the problem with a special family of bacteria, Bacillus.
You need bacteria that can survive the harsh environment of concrete, but also to make them produce repair material for the concrete. And that is limestone.
Here at the Delft Technical University, they study concrete stress levels. An old bridge support is tested to breaking point. But Jonkers is interested in the first signs of deterioration, micro cracks as thin as a human hair.
If you have cracks, water comes through. If this water gets to the steel reinforcement, if they corrode, the structure collapses.
Here the concrete is mixed as it would be on any construction site. Sand, gravel, Portland cement and water are combined. But then they add their special ingredient.
This is it, the healing agent. It will not dissolve during the mixing, but only at the case when the concrete cracks and water gets in, it will become active.
They add the concrete mix to molds to create test cubes that they crack to see if their bacteria fill in the gaps.
If concrete cracks and water gets in, the water activates the bacteria and starts to make limestone. So the active bacteria make limestone, and this limestone fills up the cracks. And that makes the concrete more durable, so extends the surface lifetime. It's as simple as that.
Testing in a lab is one thing, but Jonkers sought to prove concrete could heal in the outside world. By a lake, a modest lifeguard station, the first building in the world using self-healing concrete.
At the start, we came back almost every 2 or 3 weeks to see how the process was going. And yes, we were really happy to see that it worked.
Concrete is now being used more than ever. In China, where new cities rise every year, they've used more than 6 billion tons in the last 3 years alone. That's more than the US has used in a century. And Jonkers hopes his concrete could be the start of a new age of biological buildings.
It is combining nature with construction materials. So nature is supplying us a lot of functionality for free. So I think it's a really nice example of trying nature and the built environment together in one new concept.
So, our future roads may be built with self-healing concrete, while we are whisked from A to B in self-driving cars. Google this week said its self-driving vehicles have been involved in 11 accidents over 6 years. 11! I hear you shriek. Well, it's 11 minor accidents And the devil's in the detail, as always, because every one of them, says Google, was caused by human error, either the driver of the other vehicle or the operator of the self-driving car. Samuel Burke and I took a joyride to put it in perspective. What does this survey tell us as we enjoy the view of our motoring day?
Well, look, I think at the end of the day, what this really tells us is that the human beings are the problem, you and I, because 7 times a Google self-driving car was rear-ended by somebody else. 2 times somebody sideswiped them. So what you're seeing here is that the humans are either hitting the driverless cars or it's the people behind the wheel and they're making a mistake.
So is the driverless car here to stay? And if so, how does it develop from now on? Because 11 is a very small number.
It's a lot less than a lot of people in my family, and they've driven a lot less miles.
Right.
The car is here to stay. This is the...
Sorry.
This is the future, Richard. It's going to start incrementally. At the end of this year, you're going to see self-driving cars. Let's not call them driverless cars, because you'll still need to be behind the wheel a bit. Go on the highway, just like we're doing right now, and you can take your hands off the wheel and start checking your text messages.
But can you? Because you've done a lot more. I did that one car through Berlin, where we were terrified most of the time. But you've done several of these. Is the idea that once you have a self-driving car, you can engage in other activities?
While you're on the highway, that's going to be the first place you'll be able to do that. But once you get off the highway, at least at first, you're going to have to take the wheel, like I might do right here. You have to take the wheel and then turn the corners. But little by little, that will change. And it's amazing to see how quickly it's all changed, Richard. 2 years ago, I was scared out of my mind, almost crashing a driverless car. And now I'm going in them. I'm having no problem. And for the first time, a CEO told me he'll put his kids in them.
When Google has 11 incidents, they didn't seem too concerned about them.
Actually, at first, the report was 4. There was all this hoopla in the American press, 4 accidents. And Google actually came out and said, actually, it was 11 accidents, emphasized the fact that it was never the car's fault, it was the human's fault. 11's not that much.
And ultimately, Samuel, when we talk about this, when do you, because you also talk to the car manufacturers, when do you expect to see driverless vehicles? No, self-driving.
Self-driving.
Self-driving vehicles. When do you expect to see them fully coming on stream? When we're going to, in a meaningful way?
The CEO of a major company told me by the end of this year. So we won't need a driver, and soon, who knows, we may not even need an anchor of a TV show.
Not an idea that will catch on. Samuel Burke, thank you for joining us.
We don't have to have our hands on the wheel.
Sorry?
We can shake hands. We don't have to have hands on the wheel.
Why don't you drive?
Coming up on Open Court, we're on the road.